This is KGW News at 11.
A new wildfire is burning in the Mount Hood National Forest. People at 6 campgrounds are being evacuated tonight. Now, this is happening near Boulder Lake, that's southeast of Mount Hood. Level 3 evacuation orders are in place for the campgrounds of Boulder Lake, Little Boulder Lake, Badger Lake, Bonnie Meadow, Camp Windy, and Post Camp. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Blair Best. Let's go now to Ashley Grams. She's been covering the fire for us tonight.
A fire that started Saturday afternoon, now burning acres of national forest land surrounding a campground just over 20 miles away from Mount Hood. A plume of smoke settles over a hillside in the Mount Hood National Forest. Firefighters tell us this fire is burning 75 acres and has forced weekend campers to evacuate.
Somebody happened to pass by our camp and said, "There's a fire. You guys might want to leave."
Robin Redinger and her friends were camping off the grid and thought about waiting it out until they saw the evacuation message.
Then we all started getting alerts on our phone. No, we gotta go.
Level 3 Go Now evacuations are in place at several campgrounds, including Boulder Lake, Camp Windy, and Bonnie Meadow.
Some like we were coming down to the hills, there's like this big patch of smoke. I in that moment, I'm like, well, how did that start?
Lincoln Tanner and his family saw the smoke from miles away.
Still, that was pretty scary to me.
Scooper planes and helicopters flew throughout the afternoon, fighting the fire from the sky. And for Redinger, it's tough to watch.
We've camped up here my whole life, and it's beautiful.
Now all she can do is wait.
It's really sad. I hate it. It's so sad.
Reporting from Mount Hood, I'm Ashley Grams, KGW News.
All right, well, let's bring in meteorologist Joe Ranieri. And Joe, what conditions are these fire crews facing out there?
Well, steep terrain. It's really challenging for crews to even get close to some of the wildfires out there throughout the Mount Hood National Forest. But again, we are going to be seeing the winds pick up heading into tomorrow afternoon. The winds will be calm the rest of your Saturday night and early tomorrow morning. But as we put future casts into motion, you can kind of see where the winds will be at. Right around 15-20 miles an hour near Government Camp and east. And you travel throughout parts of the Dalles and the Columbia River Gorge, you're still going to be seeing some windy conditions. That's where most of the wind will be. But again, we're tracking some sunny and warm conditions over the next couple of days. We go from sunny, warm, and downright hot heading into the end of the week. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But as we go into Monday afternoon, we'll continue to see some windy conditions at times, but most of the really strong winds will be throughout the Columbia River Gorge. But again, we could easily see the winds change a little bit. Now, that red flag warning that was in place during our 6 o'clock show has since expired, but still now there's this heat advisory through parts of eastern Oregon, Hermiston, and Boardman. Daytime highs will be approaching the upper 90s to close to 100 degrees by tomorrow afternoon. So the fire danger is still going to be high throughout the central and eastern side of the state. I'll talk more about your detailed forecast, and I'll talk more about the chance of seeing highs approaching 100 degrees. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thanks for that update. Well, let's get to another update on the Tunnel 5 fire, burning now on the Washington side of the gorge near White Salmon. Firefighters are starting to get the upper hand. Tonight, the fire is about 65% contained. It's burned nearly 600 acres in the past week. Evacuation orders in the area have been downgraded. They're now at a level 1, which means people in the area should be ready to go if needed, but they don't need to leave just yet. Well, family members of a man stabbed this week continue to mourn his death. 32-year-old Colin Smith was killed Sunday in the Buckman neighborhood, and an arrest has now been made. Now, Smith's family says he was protecting a friend from harassment when he was attacked. Thomas Schultz has more.
They say Colin was a kind soul and full of light. He was also a protector, looking out for people most in need of help. Police cars and yellow tape lined the Buckman neighborhood early Sunday morning after police say 32-year-old Colin Smith was stabbed to death.
He brought so much happiness and joy to my life.
His death is being felt by family, friends, and co-workers at Ox Restaurant, where he worked as a server.
Just full of life, really.
Danielle Smith is his sister, born 2 years and 5 days before Colin.
We'd share birthdays until we didn't want to share birthdays anymore.
Now birthdays are memories. Family members say Colin died doing the same thing he did every day, fighting for those in need of help.
A protector, which is, how he went, protecting those he cared about.
So Lee says Smith had just gotten off work Sunday and was hanging out at a bar with friends One was a member of the LGBTQ+ community. Solis says a man came up to the group and began making homophobic slurs to Smith's friend.
I know he was probably trying to just de-escalate and get this person to move on, and that's when he was killed.
Stabbed to death. Portland police say there have already been 45 murders in the city this year. On Wednesday, 24-year-old Renique Jackson was arrested for killing Smith.
And I just want to really stress that it was a hate crime. This is nothing more, nothing less.
They say police are investigating this murder as a hate crime, and it isn't the first time Jackson has been arrested for violence. In 2018, he was charged for strangling someone. In 2019, he was arrested again for strangling. That charge was dismissed. But on Sunday, Smith's friends say Jackson took the life of a special soul.
He was a protector,
sticking up for a friend in need.
He always had everyone's back.
There is a GoFundMe to help Colin's family pay for funeral expenses. If you would like to find out more information, you can do so on our website, kgw.com. As for Jackson, he's set to be arraigned on Monday. Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
In southwest Portland, the May apartment building is waiting to be demolished 2 months after a massive fire there. The apartments on Southwest 14th Avenue were destroyed when a tenant who was being evicted allegedly set the fire. It also forced residents of the building next door to move out. And nearly 2 months on, they were finally allowed to go back and pick up their belongings. According to the city, the owner of the May apartments plans to demolish what's left of the structure, but no permits have been filed and there's no timeline. Meanwhile, 14th remains closed indefinitely.